today I saw there was like a advertisement for a new character, and it was like really like, oh, right?
Sorry, my microphone's falling over.
Yeah, it's
Smack that
dropping
mic.
shit.
Sorry about that.
That's usually what I'm supposed to do is smack the mic.
Balancing it on my drum kit. All right.
I forgot what I was saying.
Sorry, my apologies. Oh boy.
Oh, they have a video that it was like a big cinematic, and it was like an anime style like cinematic for the new character. And God damn it, James, what are you doing?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I can't find a good spot. I put another cymbal on this drum kit, and now, maybe if I just rested on the snare. How about that?
First of all, why the fuck is your mic on the drum kit?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Because I'm sitting so far back from my desk is like here, right? So I'd be like yelling into the microphone. Hang on, let me reposition this. Do I sound fine?
That sounds a little better.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Tilted it up.
All right, here we go. Sorry, Leo. Please go on.
Just hunch over it like a.
You don't have to hunch over.
Just ignore the mic. Just ignore the mic.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Sorry.
So yeah,
we know you come here for the A grade production quality, folks.
A+. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Good Games Podcast. I am James.
I'm Leo.
I'm Justin.
Hey guys, what's going on?
We almost didn't make it, but we're committed.
We didn't. I mean, we're starting pretty late, but
yeah.
A couple days later,
Yeah.
You got families, man.
The show must go on.
Yeah. So some of us have young kids, not me, but
those kids ruin everything, man.
That's what I hear. They're hard to schedule around. They don't really keep consistent schedules.
That's not what I heard. Apparently, your child had a problem.
Yeah,
oh yes, my child did have a problem.
Yeah.
Our little cat was like throwing up like crazy, and we're like, oh god, what's the problem? Turns out she was just very constipated. That's what we learned. Yep.
Really, cat's not going in the litter box.
Yeah. Well, we got her on some laxatives. We've changed up her diet a little bit, and she's doing well now. She's doing good.
By the way, this may be an early endorsement. I don't know. I've never used this product, but I saw it on TikTok. It's like a cover that goes over your toilet seat, and it's like a litter. So the cat is attracted to it as a litter box, but it just covers your toilet seat.
Oh, the cat like poops in the toilet?
Well, it goes in the litter, and then you start cutting out like the center, like the center of the litter like cover, and eventually things start going in, and you slowly remove that layer of litter, so eventually it's just the toilet seat, and the cat is just used to going onto the toilet, and then you've trained your cat how to use the toilet. So
I've also seen a video of that where the cat tries to shit in the toilet and shits right on the floor.
Yeah, right. That's probably what's more likely to happen.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the cat falls in.
No. It's just the cat literally just is sprawled across the toilet and just shits on the floor.
The whole thing only works until it doesn't work, and then either you or the cat will be fed up and not want to.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
So you guys have any time to play any Genshin Impact?
Played a lot of Genshin Impact, I gotta say.
I played more than I thought I was.
Yeah, I mean, I'd heard good things about it. This game has been creeping up on my radar for the last, I guess has it been a couple years already? I mean, I feel like it's been a year and change at least, right?
It came out late last year.
Oh, okay.
I want to say like September, August, maybe.
Since it was released, I've been hearing nothing but great things about it from people, so I've been wanting to check it out. It's a beautiful game.
Absolutely stunning.
Yeah,
it's very beautiful.
Totally gorgeous. It is. It's an anime theme, which I love anime and Japanese culture. I kind of don't know what the hell I'm doing. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
I don't really know what the game is. Really.
Yeah. I ran into that problem too. I mean, I had a similar.
It's enjoyable, but I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. I first heard about this game from my cousin Hannah. Shout outs to Hannah if you're listening. I know she listens sometimes. And she's like, "Oh, you gotta play this game, Genshin Impact." And I Googled it. And I was like, "Oh, it's like an MMO." Well, it's not an MMO, but it's like I I don't know. It's a very like RPG heavy, like
if it was an MMO, I'd be really excited.
It's not massive. It's just an MO.
It has everything an MMO would have, except for
it's an MMO without the very first M.
Yeah.
And I was like looking at it and I was like, okay, and then like I was watching some gameplay and I was like, oh my god, because I was looking at like the anime characters and like Paimon kept coming up a lot, and I was like, oh Jesus. I'm like, this is
I gotta say, look,
yeah.
The game is very proud of itself in terms of its content creators, its actors, its voice actors, its artwork. It's beautiful. It's really supporting the voice actors. Voice acting is a big deal in this culture of anime and stuff too. And I have a friend who follows the podcast, and she's really big on voice acting and anime voice actors and stuff. So they really emphasize that. But like, of all the people to voice Paimon, who's with you, like a Navi character in Zelda, who's just with you all the times and talking, just like this, like really headache-inducing, terrible voice.
It's like when you think of like an anime girl, it's like the first, like, and the anime girl's voice. It's like the first thing you think of when it's like a stereotype, and it's like
really
exaggerated, like, oh my god, and it's like that.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
dialed up just to like 27. It's like,
I can't even go that high. Like
childish.
Like it's impossible for me to even imitate it.
I can't. I just mashing the dialogue skip button.
Oh yeah. Anytime she talks, I'm like, next. Like,
because I'm loving all the voice acting and stuff.
Yeah, all the other voice actors are great.
Just when she comes on, I'm done.
Just like, shut up, Paimon.
I think you could just delete Paimon from the game completely, and it would be just a better game. Just better.
Honestly, that if Paimon were gone and I was rating this game on a scale of 1 to 10, like that's an immediate 0.5 increase on the review scale for sure. Yeah, which is sad because for a game that prides itself so much on that aspect, it's not a good choice.
So I was like looking at all these things and I was like, oh Jesus, this is like definitely not my type of game.
Sure,
but then like the other half of it is like this game is like heavily drawing on The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild for inspiration. Like just basically just ripping Breath of the Wild off, just blatantly.
Don't even get me started. Because in the first 5 minutes, I was like, wow. Just so many environmental things in this game.
Yes.
Were just ripoffs. There's mushrooms by the trees. The trees have apples in them.
Yes.
You can climb, and there's stamina when you run and climb, swim.
Cooking, gliding.
The whole glider thing. Yeah.
The thing, though, that I went, okay, fine. They're really just like, they like the whole idea of how the Wild played. That's fine. But then, like, just randomly, again, in the first 5 minutes, when you walk into, like, the field, there's a broken down, like decaying chariot. For no fucking reason. I'm like, that's fucking Breath of the Wild. Like what? Like you didn't even fucking like. I was like, all right, that's it. No, this is a. And then you touch the little like god statues, and that's pretty much acts like the towers. And then the orb comes out, and the orb goes into his chest, and he goes, oh, like come on, man.
I swear to God, my character went like this. He went, and I was like, what the hell?
Blatant, unabashed, ripped off. Rip so many things. Even like when you're out in the environment, you get that soft piano music.
Right.
There was one point where when I approached the first god statue, it was like the wind god or whatever. It started doing like a low like piano riff, like boo doo doo. I was like, oh my god, is it about to play Zelda's Lullaby? Or what the fuck's going on here? But then it went into a cutscene, so I didn't get to hear
You can play instruments in this game, and I believe there's an ocarina.
And you know what? All of the things that they just ripped out of Breath of the Wild are the things that I like the most about this game, and I don't really mind them because they're executed, for the most part, they're executed pretty well.
I mean, yeah, they did a good job.
It's all of the not Breath of the Wild things that I don't like all of the like just they took the like RPG mechanic and just pushed it so fucking far. Because like you were saying earlier, Leo, there's like it's
what the hell is this game?
It's hard to know what you're doing. There's like 27 different types of currency.
Oh my god, don't get me started on this.
Like, do I spend this here? Like,
so this game has like, and we all know Matt, my buddy Matt, and he's big on these Yeah, he's big on these gotcha style games, and you know, sort of more like games that are made on the Asian front, and they're kind of grindy, and they're kind of, you know, when they're brought over to the West, it's like somewhat broken translations and stuff. But he's really big on all these.
Yeah.
And the thing they all have in common is like, and this game isn't as bad. Okay, I'll give Genshin that. But like on like mobile, they'll have like some mobile game that's free and you download it. And as soon as you log in, it's just blasting you with like pop-ups and new currencies and trials and this thing you can do. And then you get all these type of currencies. Who knows what those are for? And then like it just like overwhelms me with like options and currencies and then but doesn't tell me like how or why I care. You know, like I'm 10 hours into this game and I'm like, you know, I don't exactly know what I'm supposed to do, and the story is like just barely like a breadcrumb kind of.
Yeah, that's the story and the characters are a huge weak point in this game.
Right.
I don't. I mean, half of it is because I'm just skipping all of Paimon's dialogue, but the other half is the story is just like
it's like you're finding yourself.
Super
you're
snooze.
Meeting people along the way.
Yeah. The story is a snooze fest, and the characters are just like anime stereotypes that I don't really find interesting. Yeah.
However, all that being said, like just kind of logging into the game and kind of like casually going through the open world and like fighting shit and then like running a couple trials or whatever, and
that's Breath of the Wild.
And but like trying the new characters, like the one thing that this game does, you know, veer away from Zelda quite a bit, I would say, is multiple characters. It's basically like they just thought of like, hey, what if we took Breath of the Wild and made it more anime-y and it added like multiple characters at once and you can like move around.
That's the entire game. It's like, what if we took Breath of the Wild
and then X,
and then variable.
Right. So, but it works a little bit. Like it's kind of fun, like trying out the different characters. One thing they did that was really cool that I do like when games do is that like they have this elemental system, you know, different attacks have different elemental properties and they work off of each other. So like I love seeing that in Divinity Original Sin and stuff. Like there's other games that like that whole kind of algorithm where you can like, oh, what if I throw gas at fire and what happens then, or you know, ice at water or whatever. So like that whole mechanic and switching characters to work on that was really neat. That alone is enough for me to just kind of like casually play the game and just kind of like, oh, let me try out like the new character.
And that's the cool thing, that because I mean they have that same exact system in Breath of the Wild, but it's like, oh, let me just change to use thunder arrows or a thunder bow or whatever the hell. In this, you actually have to change characters, and the characters very often by necessity have like different attack styles, different
animations, different weapons.
Yeah. And that was cool. I liked the switching character. That was one of the things that Breath of the Wild did not do that this game did do that I liked.
I wouldn't be surprised if like Breath of the Wild 2 was like Link gathers his friends to fight, you know, Ganondorf, and then it ends up being Genshin Impact 2, you know, like,
Genshin Impact is the sequel to Breath of the Wild.
And Navi's back, and this time she's voice acted. And
this time she's a fully grown child.
And she refers to herself in the third person all the time.
Oh, that has to be part of it too. It's so terrible. Like, what? Okay. Anyway, yeah, Paimon is the worst. Okay. But yeah, so the game has like that one major fault for me. I mean, I say this about a lot of games, but like when I start the game, like I'm just a wuss, but like I need you to just explain the core game to me. I don't need my handheld per se, but just even in like just give me text in the beginning explaining like what I'm supposed to do or like how something works, and I don't want to have to figure it out and like spend 10 hours doing something wrong and then figure out that like I should have been doing it this other way. For instance, I'll give you an example. When you first start this game, they tell you, like, here's how you attack, here's how you jump and dash, right? I'm like, great, this is cool, I'm learning. And then they like they spawn some baddies, and while you're fighting, they just say, if you press this button, you'll do this super special move. And I'm like, all right, cool. So whenever I see this icon, I can do my super special move. They never proceeded to tell me how I gather energy to do the special move. So then I played the next 2 or 3 hours of the game. Like, how come I just randomly have access to this special move that just like pops up every once in a while. That's weird. And then like after like a while, I think I accidentally collected an orb that went into me or whatever, and then I saw like the bar go up, and I was like, and I went back and watched like a let's play on YouTube to see if I missed it. Did I miss them tell me that was what I was supposed to do? No, they don't fucking tell you. They, as you're fighting, they just say, hey, when you have this, use it, but they don't tell you how or why. So I don't know, there's just a lot of that in this game where like they don't tell you anything. Like currencies, they just assume you know what stars mean, and like items, and should I be using them? Like, it's just there's a lot of unknowns, right?
That was part of the biggest learning curve. Is like you have to learn what all the different currencies do. There is literally I don't. So there's probably 10 different. There's probably
yeah. When I started the game, apparently there was a bunch of like, oh, thank you for starting the game, and hey, we got it, like
with all these pop-ups,
all these pop-ups, which was fine, and then you could just sit there and claim the stuff. I was like, holy shit, I don't know what all this is, but I'm just gonna claim it all, like
yoink, yeah.
But then like then I realized like there's all this like shit with names, and I don't know what it does. There was like one thing where it was like, hey, you can use these papers to level up your character faster. I was like, okay, so I just leveled them up. I was like, all right, what did that do? Is that am I stronger now? Like, what's going on?
I did that, and then like my character got to like max level like in like a second, and so it's just like, hey honey, what are you doing today? Oh, I'm playing a new game. I hit max level in 30 seconds. Okay.
It kind of almost reminded me of
but then it's not really max level, just your character's max level.
Kind of like the Hyrule Warriors, like cheap way of paying to level up, where you pay like the currency you get to level up your character. I feel like it almost stole that.
If you are familiar with gacha style games on like the mobile devices, which I was lucky enough to have played because of our friend Matt, like in the past I've played Summoner's War or whatever, and it's basically the same thing. You have characters with stars, and the whole game is literally just trying to find, get more of the same character, and like you can like combine them to make a higher star version of the same character, and that's the entire game. And so, and then you feed them, like items to level them up. So like when I saw those items and I saw the stars, I was like, okay, so I'm supposed to do that. But if I didn't know that, if I've never played one of these, like I would be completely lost. And it's not a deal breaker for me because the game is so beautiful and so easy to just kind of casually go and do stuff and play around that I really kind of enjoyed it. But it's just one of those things that slightly irked me.
Did either of you guys play this on mobile?
I did try it on mobile.
How does it look as crazy as it does on PC?
I mean, so my problem is I don't have the best phone,
right?
And there was some frame rate issues.
Okay.
So I can't say that like graphically it was like really that impressive or not. It seemed from like despite the frame loss, it seemed comparable. It seemed like really nice. I even like had it on while I was playing. Taryn actually like was like, hey, that sounds really nice and it looks really cool. Like, what do you play?
It does have a nice soundtrack.
I mean, beautiful soundtrack. And so
I love the music.
Yeah, it's just a very beautiful game. And so she was even like, nice, cool. Like, you got that on your phone? That's insane that you can play a game in like a 3D open world on your phone. But I did have some frame rate issues, and that just could be my device. But I mean, I did it. I played probably at least like an hour or two on my phone, and like there were times where I couldn't get on the PC, and I finished up a quest on my phone, which is pretty neat that you can do that.
That is cool. It does have cross save between mobile and PC, which is
cross
very nice.
Save, and there was something that I found out that on PS4 it is not cross save though, which is super annoying.
Nope.
Because I would love to have like there's times where I just want to hang out on the couch and play the PS5 or whatever. And
the one baffling thing to me is that this game, as we referenced earlier, this game is multiplayer.
Yes.
But it's not multiplayer until you get to, I think, level 16, which I'm going to estimate takes maybe at least 10 hours, probably closer to 15, maybe 20 hours.
I would say 20 or so because I'm already like close to 10 hours and I'm just past level 10.
Yeah.
And someone had said, somewhere in the 10s, I guess, is when that thing unlocked. Why so late? I don't understand. But at the same time, I kind of do understand because I'm this many hours in and still don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So like, I feel like
all the more reason to have a friend who's like more experienced and like, hey, let's figure out how to teach you the ropes.
How much would it suck to like, because I'm sure the online is not like some amazing like matchmaking system. I'm expecting it's a second plot.
The point is, you have an ID you can just give your friend, and then you can play with your friends. I thought.
Yeah. yeah, if it was a public matchmaking system though, that would suck to like, you know, be grouped up with someone who doesn't know what they're doing yet. But yeah, if it's a sort of invite by friend code, yeah,
because
I just want to do it right away.
I wanted to play with like you guys or like my cousin or whatever, and it's like, no, you can't do that until you play this game for 20 hours.
You gotta play for days before you get that.
Why?
Yeah, it's really weird.
I can understand like get through the tutorial first.
So let me say something. So this is exactly the kind of game that if it was like right when you logged in, there's like a bunch of players online. You can see them talking, and they're like all like helping each other out. Like, yeah, go do this run. We'll do it together, and like probably doing some role playing. I do some role playing in like MMOs and stuff. You know, like dude, I would probably spend 500% more time in this game if that was the case. So, who makes this game?
MiYoho or
MiYoho. If you're listening,
or maybe it's MiHoYo. I can't remember which.
Give us Genshin Impact Online, and you will have my my dollars for a long time.
Just make it like level 5 because you hit level 5 in like an hour. Yeah, like why 16? It takes so long to get there.
Well, it's because
the 10-hour tutorial
is. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean I was also kind of almost expecting that when I went in was like, hey, I'm gonna jump in, and all of a sudden there's gonna be a bunch of other people. But then it started off, and I was like, "Oh, this seems like it's kind of just its own thing."
I thought it was going to be like an intro, and then I would be like out of that intro world, and then like join like the world with other folks.
It's an MMO through and through,
right.
Except there's not multiple people. You just play by yourself.
You know what it was? They developed the whole game, and at the end, they're like,
"It makes me wonder."
Do you remember to put in the multiplayer, Bill?
Oh shit! I
forgot it.
Bill, god damn it!
Yeah, I mean, but granted, one thing, okay, so if there's anything, because being me, I obviously sat here and comparing it to Breath of the Wild because it's like all I could see.
This game absolutely invites Breath of the Wild.
And that was the funny thing was before the game even came out, there was a lot of people saying like there's this game coming out, and they were literally taking screenshots of Breath of the Wild and then screenshots of Genshin and going, this is the same exact landscape. Like they copied the hills, they copied the mountain, whatever. Like, but there's one thing I do like about it is that it's not as, I guess, gloomy as Breath of the Wild can be with its like colors. I like how like
bright.
Yeah, it's a lot brighter. It's
very
where like a lot of the stuff in the game kind of stands out.
Well, because it's after the world has already been saved. This is the sequel. So
this is the Breath of the Wild sequel. Like surprise, made
Pieces
by
in
Nintendo.
Yeah. The Legend of Zelda, Genshin Impact of the Wild.
Genshin Impact of the Wild. Yeah, I know. It is sort of a brighter palette and kind of a little bit more upbeat sort of landscape. At least in the early part. I don't know if there's, as you go further into the map, maybe shit gets dark. I don't know.
But love the music, love the way it looks, and it's just like you guys said, it's just like there's a lot. I mean, but granted, the game's free.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, if you haven't had a chance to play like Breath of the Wild, because I don't know, you just can't. I mean, this game.
It gives you mechanically the same feel.
Yeah,
it's like
most of the same stuff.
It's the poor man's Breath of the Wild. You know?
It is the poor man's Breath of the Wild. And I will say, in fairness, like a lot of the like gacha style like loot box system are not that intrusive. Like at the beginning, the game's like, "Hey, you can pay to get more experience or whatever," and I'm like, "Cool, definitely not doing that." But it doesn't like pop up. It's not like, "Hey, please pay money." It's very fair with the way the payments work.
When I think about it, like my mind goes to like MapleStory a little bit.
Yeah.
They have a tendency to be that way.
Yeah,
where they kind of pop up.
Most of those like kind of free, really grindy games is also a freemium model. Usually are very heavy, like pushing it, like spend money. This game doesn't do that too much, and they even let you try like those. I haven't like really even gotten a good grasp of like how you get more characters like besides the ones that are given to you as part of the main story. Like
I got because they give you one of the loot boxes for free, and I got 2 characters in my loot box, which I don't know if that's normal or
I don't think so. Yeah. I don't think I've gotten any characters outside of like the ones that are introduced in the story or whatever.
Yeah,
but I know that they let you like try out the new fancy characters or some characters that you might not have. They let you try them out and see what their skill sets are like and stuff. And
there's a lot of that. There's a lot of like the little anime like fly arounds like I don't know.
The one thing that bothered me about this game, and this is the most me complaint that is going to be just to me and valid for me and no one else. This game has a bespoke launcher, right? You launch it and then you go into the game. It's not on Steam, and it requires your admin access, like the Windows 10, the UAC admin prompt comes up. All those three things combined make it fucking impossible to play with a Steam controller unless you like launch the entire Steam client as an admin. You have to do all the jump through a million hoops. So annoying. And this is definitely the type of game that of any game, this is definitely a game you want to play with a controller. Absolutely. So anyway, if you have a Steam controller, you're going to be jumping through some hoops to get this game to work with.
I feel like Leo's about to counter that and say he's definitely keyboard mouse.
I definitely played with keyboard and mouse, but I did.
You could absolutely play with keyboard and mouse. I just feel like
I do agree, though. I agree that it's probably better on a controller, and I wanted to play it with my PS5 controller. I just never brought it over to the computer to try it, but I will try that. And by the way, I would submit that if you don't have a Steam controller and you don't want to have one because they're awkward and gross, the PS5 controller is fantastic.
Here's the thing. The thing that people don't understand about the Steam controller is it's designed to play games on like your couch. Like if you have a TV and your computer is hooked up to your TV, which is something I endorsed on the last episode, get yourself a Steam controller because it's a controller like a video game controller, but you have a trackpad for your mouse. So you really don't need anything else to control your computer. You don't need a keyboard. All you need is just the Steam controller.
Yeah, whereas the PS5 controller has, thumbsticks like normal humans use, and then has a trackpad in the center. So you can still control your computer with the trackpad in the center of the controller.
Can you actually control the mouse with a PS5 trackpad?
Why wouldn't you be able to?
Oh, I don't know. But then what? So wait, when you plug it in, does it auto map to mouse controls? This is the most riveting conversation that's relevant to no one.
I don't know.
I'm going to try that tonight.
I don't know. I'm assuming it's a trackpad. Why wouldn't it?
Yeah, but how do you like click, right click? Anyway, whatever. Doesn't matter.
It clicks in.
Right, okay. I
have no idea.
Feel like
I'm making it up as I go.
I feel like you're making all this up. Anyway, the Steam controller is actually designed to like replace your keyboard and mouse as like a controller that you just sit on the couch with.
But requires 10,000 hours to master is the problem.
It does. There is a learning curve.
It's a little
with
awkward.
Controller.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There is a learning curve with the controller. The reason that there is a learning curve, the thing that people always gloss over when they bury the Steam controller, is that it's designed to be a replacement for a keyboard and mouse.
This is like if someone was trying to explain to me why the Microsoft Zune was good.
Yeah, but there are better.
It's just like the iPod Shuffle, but
there are better alternatives to the Zune, though. There is no better alternative to the Steam controller that I know of. But
is a better alternative really better if it's solving a problem we didn't really need solved? That's the question.
That's the whole thing. If you have your setup and your computer is plugged into your television, you need a Steam controller. It is a very specific device for a very specific setup. Yeah, but I'm going to run a mouse cord? What am I going to put the mouse on my lap on my couch?
Wireless mouse? I don't.
No, I bought a little keyboard, cheap little wireless keyboard from Walmart, and it had a trackpad in it. So I just have that next to me, and it just
that as well. Now imagine
wireless peripherals, man.
Imagine playing like a first-person shooter, or even Genshin Impact with your shitty ass Walmart trackpad keyboard.
Look, I mean, you use a controller for games. Like, I mean, all I'm saying is the learning curve of using the Steam controller is not worth the benefit that you're saying you get from it. Like, it's not worth the amount of time to learn how to use that god-awful controller for the mere benefit of being able to also use it as a computer mouse like that.
Very debatable. All right.
Highly debatable.
Yeah, it is highly debatable. All right. Let's get on with the show. Hey, do you enjoy this shit show? Well, good, because you should support it on our Patreon. It's Good Games Cast on Patreon. Our email is also I'm like hunched over this mic now. It's like Should I move this? Our email is goodgamescast. I'm going to move this while I talk. Our email, I'm going to try to balance it, is goodgamescast@gmail.com. Our podcast is available on YouTube. If you're listening to these noises, me adjusting my microphone, and you want to see the video, the riveting video of me adjusting my microphone, you can find that on YouTube. We are Good Games Cast on YouTube. And if you don't want to see the shit show, then you can just watch our audio podcast. We are on Spotify and Google Play and iTunes and all those, whatever they all are. Yeah. All right. Our top 5 for today is our... Where's my fucking telephone? Our top 5 today is our top 5 anime.
Yeah.
Being
real weebs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My list is very, very cringy.
I don't know if mine is cringy, but I have a good mix of both like series and like movies. So I don't know what I don't know if you guys did all like anime series, but I have a lot of movies on mine.
I would say I think all of mine are series. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Although I have seen some
series.
great movies too.
Right.
But I feel like
series fan.
If I threw movies into my list, the movies would just trump it entirely.
Yeah, that happened.
So it's like
to me.
I think anime, I think series.
Yeah.
But I mean, like there are anime movies. We could always make that another subject one day. I mean,
I mean, fair warning. I got a lot of movies on my list, so
No,
the movies are great.
There are a lot of great anime movies. But yeah, I was thinking when you said anime for this, I was thinking series. I was thinking TV show.
Yet more evidence that we don't
series.
have any kind of pre-production meetings or anything.
All works.
We just figure this shit out on the air.
It works.
Yeah. Should I start? Should I?
Yeah,
go ahead.
Speaking of anime movies, my number 5 is a classic. My number 5 is Akira. Akira. I don't even know how to explain Akira. I've seen Akira a handful of times now.
It's anime. It's anime Blade Runner, right?
Yeah, I mean, there are it is kind of like one of the original like dystopian cyberpunk futures. It draws a lot from the like cyberpunk dystopia in Blade Runner and other dystopian futures like that. But there are a lot of weird themes in Akira that I don't. I mean, the ending of Akira is so batshit crazy. I've seen it a handful. I don't really. I can't explain to you in words what happens at the end of Akira. There's a lot of like, what does it mean to be human, and what does it mean to be like more than human? I don't know. If the themes don't sound interesting to you, at the very least, Akira is a like jaw-droppingly beautifully animated movie. The animation is spectacular. And this is, an older film, being like I think it was like 1988 when Akira was made. And it's been very, very influential, and not just animation, but like also, I don't know, it's good. It's a classic. You got to go watch Akira.
It's like your classic black and white movie, like cultured viewing of anime.
Yes.
Like it's like
it is the Citizen Kane. It is the Citizen Kane of anime.
Yes.
I love the sentence. Just the sentence, the Citizen Kane of anime.
All right. My number 5 is going to go to an anime that really, I think this might have been the first thing to get me into anime, like that wasn't like sort of mainstream TV anime that you would watch like on like the cartoon series, network television. It's called Noir, and it's a series about a society of assassins in a modern era. So they use like guns and shit, which is awesome. And the main characters are these 2 girls. I think actually most of the assassins are girls. So of course it's it's good eye candy as you're watching your waifus battle out with guns and but they're really badass, and they're like so like this one chick is like the best assassin ever, and like she's trying to leave the assassins, but like she's too dangerous to be left alive. And shit gets crazy, and they're shooting guns and shit. There's a lot of guns in all my favorite anime. Okay, like I don't know what it is with Japanese animation people, like they have like a fascination with having like really accurate firearms in anime, like for some reason.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic.
And they always put so much emphasis too on the whole like holding the gun and like shooting and
it's
watching the bullet fly out with the air streams flaring off the bullet. It's like Jesus.
I remember the first time I saw like a handgun in like Gundam Wing as a kid or something, and it was like the most realistic shooting of a firearm I've ever seen on television, and it was from a freaking anime. And I was like, "What? This is badass." So, yeah. So Noir is cool. It's got assassins, it's got guns, it's got chicks, it's got a cool story, and it's great. Check it out.
Okay. My number 5 is actually quite a popular one, and if you don't know about this one,
the rest of mine are super popular.
Where the fuck have you been? I put Dragon Ball Z as my number 5.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z.
I'm kind of just going for the whole series. I mean, like, really, the whole thing ties together. It's just,
dude, so good.
I mean, not to say that it defines anime, but it's just like one of those. It was one of the ones to come out perfectly for us to grow up with, and it had like all the action and crazy stuff and like superpowers and all this like alien stuff. It's just like it was so many random things, and it just like it was. I feel like it was just timed so perfectly for when it came out. And I mean, it's just the epitome of what do you think when you think of an anime? A lot of people think Dragon Ball Z, the whole shooting powers out of your hands and flying around, and funny anime giant booby make horny jokes, and I mean,
was there a lot of that? Z? Oh, there was a lot of pervy old man.
Yeah. And there's big booby chicks and stuff. Yeah,
it's even worse in Dragon Ball. Like there is everyone's a fucking horn dog in Dragon Ball.
I just remember Master Roshi being a horn dog, but that's
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but like in Dragon Ball, like there are just like things they do in that cartoon where it's just like, wow, okay, she just reached into her pants and pulled something out or something like that. It's like they didn't even fucking, I don't know, you could tell there was some
didn't even try
when they're animating. Yeah. They were just horn dogging when they're animating the whole thing. Just be like, ooh. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, Dragon Ball Z.
My number 4 is I keep ping-ponging between two of their popular films, but I am gonna go with Hayao Miyazaki's. I think I'm gonna go with Spirited Away. I think that is maybe my favorite of his films.
Another classic film.
I was choosing between that and Kiki's Delivery Service. You know what? I'm gonna go with Kiki's Delivery Service. I changed my answer.
I disagree.
So I
would go with Spirited Away.
Yeah. I think Spirited Away is probably the more popular and probably the more beloved film. But like, I recently watched Spirited Away, and recently, God, that was like 4 years ago, maybe now. And just like structurally, how weird the narrative is in that movie. Like, there is no there's no like typical structure to like a beginning, middle, end in that movie. That movie just kind of is. There's not.
That's what I kind of like about it, though.
Yeah. Exactly. The whole time I was watching that movie, I'm like, man, this is kind of weird that there isn't like progression of the plot in the typical sense that like things just kind of happen from scene to scene, and it makes it. I don't know. It's interesting. But I also like the themes a lot in Kiki's Delivery Service about like don't forget to like be whimsical every once in a while, and creativity is very important, and I don't know, it's good. Kiki's Delivery Service. Also, if you watch the English dub with the late great Kiki, these cookies. Phil Hartman. Yes, Phil Hartman voices Kiki's cat, which is great. He's good. Love Phil Hartman.
I was gonna say about like the fact that Spirited Away was kind of this had sort of discontinuity to it. Like an honorable mention for my list, I just couldn't fit it, but I really wanted to, and would have been the only film in my list would have been the Animatrix,
Nice.
which is similarly sort of unhinged in terms of like flow, and also probably style. There's just a bunch of different anime put in one, really. So yeah, I kind of like that. But okay, my number 4 is the only reason I can't put DBZ in my top 5 because it's arguably just as good, if not better, than insert any kind of like combat themed, Naruto, DBZ, Bleach, all those, and it just spins them up on their head and makes it better in every way. And it's called One Punch Man.
I've seen One Punch Man.
It is fantastic. If you're a fan of what is it called? The type of anime,
like a shonen battle anime,
shonen, whatever. Yeah, like it's basically that, but it also is very self-aware of sort of the asinine parts of those, and
I think even as someone who has not watched a lot of like shonen battle anime, I watched One Punch Man and could sense that it was riffing on tropes that I was not very familiar with, but I knew that it was inverting like expectations of normal battle anime.
And all of us who watch battle anime and love them. I mean, I love Dragon Ball Z. I've loved the Naruto series. I didn't really watch Bleach, but I'm sure I would love that too. It's like we all know that there's some really tropey moments, and we kind of forgive them. So then when you watch One Punch Man and they really mock them, it's kind of funny. And so it's like, but it does its battle like really. It's some of the best animation I've ever goddamn seen. It's amazing, and so it's great. It's like it's the best of all the worlds. It's like it's a great battle anime that also is hilarious. So.
And it's such a fun like concept too. Just like how it starts off is
like the ultimate battle anime hero that is so good that he's just bored of life.
Like he was once a weak man and then trained and became like super strong, but then he ended up training himself so hard that he became too strong and became super powerful to where nothing hitting like being a hero didn't give him satisfaction.
Also, it's one of the few. I mean, I respect the Japanese language, and I'm also a student of it. But it's one of the few anime that I actually enjoy watching. Japanese language English subs. I know a lot of like anime pros, like everything has to be Japanese voice acting and English subs. I don't always like doing that, maybe just because I grew up with English dub, so I kind of prefer that by default. But this, like One Punch Man, needs to be watched with its natural tongue. Like the voice acting is amazing. Okay.
One more thing on One Punch Man, as you guys know, and maybe some of the listeners know, I follow fighting games a lot. There was recently, I think maybe a year or two ago, there was a One Punch Man fighting game that came out, and the question came up, hey, how do you balance, what's his name?
Saitama.
Saitama. How do you balance Saitama? Because he's One Punch Man and he kills everyone in one hit. In the fighting game, Saitama is always, I think, 5 minutes late to a fight. So you have to play with a super shitty character and survive 5 minutes before Saitama can come up and then beat your opponent with what? Fuck, my mic.
God damn it, James.
And then I punched so hard that my microphone fell over.
The shockwave from your punch knocked over your microphone.
Yeah.
Yet again.
As long as you're not watching the video of this, you James punched his fist and a shockwave came out and microphone flew off.
I've been training so hard. I did 10,000 push-ups or whatever the fuck it is.
100 push-ups.
Yeah. Yeah, amazing. You have to survive 5 minutes with a shitty character, and then Saitama comes up and wins. Yeah. Great balancing decision. Yeah.
Also, a side note, I'll endorse every goddamn game that's terrible, but it's about all these kind of like battle anime, like the Naruto games, the Dragon Ball Z games. I'll play the One Punch Man game.
Dragon Ball Fighters is pretty great.
That one's pretty. That one actually was pretty good. There's actually a lot of really good Dragon Ball, and usually they're the fighting games. Like the SNES ones are amazing. Yeah, all those are always great. Just go play them.
All right, my number 4 is Attack on Titan.
Hey, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one because of just how shocking it can get when you watch that one. So yeah, if you like animes and you like getting enveloped in like the characters of the animes, and you like to learn like their story and kind of grow with them, this is not the anime for you, because literally it will just kill off whoever the fuck you are starting to relate to.
Oh, you like this guy? Yeah, he's good.
That's literally how this anime starts off too. Is just like they show you all these characters and you're like, wow, okay, yeah, all right, this is like the team, I guess, right? And then it just like, nope, dead. You're like, what? So a lot of twists and
Attack on
turns.
Titan, I will say, has some of the greatest anime yelling
Oh my God.
any anime I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's got a lot of yelling.
Just the yelling is just really phenomenal.
And just like, I love the weird, creepy artwork that they do.
Oh yeah,
with the like.
There's some still frames of like the Titans, you know, like all creepy looking, that I think could just be like, you could like just print those out, put them on a canvas, and like frame them and sell it for like a lot of money. Like it just looks so artistic, you know. It's really weird.
But yeah, if you like gory animes, Attack on Titan is a really good one.
Yeah.
My number 3 is Dragon Ball Z Abridged. And for those who are not familiar with what I'm endorsing, for those who are not familiar with what I am not endorsing. There was like a redub a few years ago. There was like Dragon Ball Kai, I think, and they like took out all of the filler. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about there is a comedically toned YouTube web series called Dragon Ball Z Abridged, where they did redub it and they took out all of the filler, but all of the characters are redubbed to be, I would say, like super like hyperbolistic versions of themselves, like super exaggerated versions of themselves. Like Goku is like a big dumb muscle head. Like Vegeta has like a huge inferiority complex because of Goku. Like Piccolo is making fun of Goku all the time because he raised Gohan, Goku's son. Like Krillin loses every single fight that he's ever in, and they keep like they keep like a running count of all of the times that like Krillin gets beat up. It is good. It is very funny. The guys behind it, Team 4-Star, are they're very good at writing a lot of like some of them are like in Dragon Ball in jokes, but then others are just, I don't know, they're just good, like good comedy.
It's a good way to watch the Dragon Ball series, to be honest.
Exactly, and that's what I was going to endorse. If you're already familiar with Dragon Ball Z and you want to revisit it, but with a, you know, less dramatic,
a completely different view,
less dramatic and serious tone, and a more just comedic, goofy tone.
Yeah,
it's very fun.
I mean, it's not as good as Dragon Ball PP. That one was really, really good.
Yeah. Also, that's not even a website. That's like a 2-minute video. You can just go Google right now, and it's outrageous,
amazing,
outrageous, and stupid.
That's Chris O'Neill for you.
Exactly what I love.
I mean, so is Dragon Ball Z Abridged, but it's good. And,
have they gotten to the last saga, like the one
they did? That's what I was just about to get to. They concluded at the end of Cell. I think they cut the series at the end of Cell. But they've kept going and they've riffed, because Dragon Ball did a bunch of movies. Actually, I think they're still making movies, and they just rebooted Super, right? So I don't know if they're going to go on or not rebooted Super. They came back with Super. With Super
series.
Yeah,
with Super.
But they've done a bunch of movies. They've riffed a lot of the movies. They've riffed. They've riffed the live action Dragon Ball movie, which was I watched that with the Team 4-Star riff. It's actually on Riff Tracks. You can go download the Team 4-Star riff on Riff Tracks. Nice. The movie was not as bad as I thought, and the riffs were better than I thought. Team 4-Star did a very good job riffing that movie. Anyway, Team 4-Star, they're great. They're funny. You can revisit Dragon Ball and laugh a lot. Just like the original series, I would say the abridged version hits the sweet spot, probably in like the Namek arc when they go to the planet Namek. That's anytime I walk outside in the Florida sun, I always, oh God, natural light.
That's so good.
Yeah. Anyway, Dragon Ball Z Abridged. It's good.
DB Super is also really good. I actually just watched it a couple months ago. When we had the newborn, and I was just like up at 4 a.m. at random times. I just like started watching it then. What are we at? Number 3. Number 3. The next 3 are really just sort of classic Cartoon Network animes that I grew up with, and of course, this one has to do with samurai. It's called Samurai Champloo.
I forgot about
I love this anime. It's got samurai. It's got hip hop. It's got swords. It's got like a nerdy dude with glasses who's like a really badass swordsman, which is basically me, and it's got a fantastic story. So that's it.
Yeah, it's one of those animes that's got like you just know these 3 random characters, but then like you start to learn more and more about their backstory as it like progresses.
As you watch, yeah.
But it's like,
also, I'm you'll probably see a trend with the like my top 3 ones are like, and I guess One Punch Man kind of fits in this too, and maybe so does Noir. I don't like super long like mega series of anime. Like I mean, I like Dragon Ball growing up. Like I like them. Okay, I watch Naruto and stuff, but like they're not my favorite because they just go on and on and on. They never end. Characters that died come back and like all this shit. Like I don't like that. I like anime that series that are like kind of short and sweet. Maybe even have seasons, but they're like 20 episodes or less usually, and that kind of wraps up that saga, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's usually my favorite, and this one falls into that as well.
I have a feeling me and Leo have a matching 1 and 2. So let's see.
I guarantee you don't have my matching 1 and 2. So
I can almost guarantee that as well.
My number 3, we already talked about it a bunch, so I'm not going to really get too far into it. It was One Punch Man.
Oh, nice. Hey, we got a cameo.
Yeah, we got a no pants cameo apparently.
Uh-oh. Man, he's up past his bedtime. It's 11 o'clock. What in the heck?
Yeah, he took a late nap.
I see. I see.
These kids with their late naps.
Daddy, be there in a little bit, okay?
Bye-bye.
Bye, Ethan.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.
No, you gotta...
Come on.
Daddy.
I'll be there in a little bit, buddy.
I'm so happy I'm still in the stage where we just like put him down and he sleeps for 12 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not that anymore with us.
Yeah, no. I'm enjoying mine while it lasts.
Yeah. Now we're in like where he's changing his sleep cycle, so now I have to hold his hand when he goes to sleep, and it sucks.
Oh,
but yeah, you have to lay there, and you can feel him moving around, and you're like, come on, just go to sleep. I just want to do things. Anyways, yeah, number 3, One Punch Man. I really enjoyed that.
It's great.
So we talked about it. So move on. Number 2.
My number 2 is Satoshi Kon's Perfect Blue. I've endorsed this on a previous episode of this podcast, but a quick plot, I don't know, synopsis. It's a movie about like a Japanese idol singer, and it's a horror movie, by the way. I guess I should say that. And it's about this girl's struggle with like losing her identity to like her fans, her like online presence. And this movie was made, I think, in like the mid to early 90s, before like even online was like a big thing. But like she's like losing her identity to her because her fans think she's one thing and her manager wants her to be another thing, and like all these people are trying to control her image and who she wants to be. Anyway, it's a horror movie about the struggle for your identity, I guess, is the best synopsis of Perfect Blue. It's very good, very weird, very creepy. It's good.
I just remember that ends just so...
Yeah, it's a weird ending. Yeah.
It's just like, well, I guess that's it then. And then like cut credits, it's like, what?
Well, there's like a weird plot twist, and then it's like, haha, cut to credits. And you're like,
yeah.
Huh, what?
That's how they finish it. Was just like very, and she even does like a little like thing to the camera, and then she's like, you're like, what the fuck? Yeah. You're like, okay, sure.
Watch that one. Okay, so really quickly, my number 2 should come as no surprise. It is Cowboy Bebop. It's probably got the greatest soundtrack in the history of anime. Oh, yeah. It's got a fantastic story. It's a space western, more or less.
futuristic Western.
Yeah,
because it's pretty much about bounty hunting and
bounty hunting, and it has a very Western vibe, like in the action sort of pacing, and again, guns and bounty hunters and like cigarettes and like fucking space and shit and great music. Did I say great music?
Yeah.
Fantastic music.
The one thing I love about that anime is I guess like the animations. Like they get like the walking and the movements down so well.
It's kind of a dark palette too, so it's just very like, I don't know, it's got like this sort of like noir film sort of a feel, you know. Really cool. Cowboy Bebop. It's kind of a classic at this point. Most kiddies these days watching anime, like, that's old, but it's great.
Yeah. My number 2 is Trigun.
Yep.
That was another one I kind of
grew
up with. Yeah. So there we go, Leo. Me and you. We just had swapped number 2 and 1 because my number 1 was Cowboy Bebop. Just gonna say it now.
Yep.
But yeah, Trigun is another one. Again, it's anime guns. It's also got that sort of Western kind of feel to it, but it's actual Western. So it's like weird futuristic Western, but kind of almost like a dystopia kind of thing going on. And then like again, it's like it's funny, it's comedic, but it also has like a kind of weird dark backstory into a lot of the characters. So
it's kind of like Samurai Champloo, where you start to learn about the characters more as you watch it. But it's but it's a concise run of episodes, so it's like it's very easy to do that. And Taryn actually really enjoyed Trigun. Actually, we watched it, and there's a lot of like goofy parts where she kind of checks out, like this is just like random anime shit. But then like when they start to sort of subtly introduce the deeper, like parts of the setting, it starts to hit you different, and then you're like, oh, this is cool. So Cowboy Bebop does the same thing, and Samurai Champloo more or less. So yeah, they're all 3 very similar in that regard.
My number 1 anime series, and it is a series, is a series called Ghost Stories, and this is also something I've endorsed previously on this podcast. Ghost Stories is an anime about it's basically if Scooby-Doo was an anime. Which probably doesn't sound that interesting to you. The thing that makes it interesting is when the Japanese company, it didn't do super well in Japan. So when they licensed the rights to it to an English company to do the dub, they were like, hey, you guys are free to do whatever you want with this. Just make it sell. And they did. They completely, not only did they redub the characters in English, they rewrote parts of the script to make it like way more comedic. And I will say, if you like Dragon Ball Z abridged, this is basically the same concept. If you like
but
MX,
professionally,
professionally, but it's an actual legit anime. You can just go. It's a real product that was.
I remember
sold.
you talking about that. Yeah.
That was sold like not just like a web series. This is a real fucking thing that actually, and the characters just say the most like outrageous, offensive shit, and you're like, what? Did that character just say that? Excuse me? Because they're all like, the other thing that makes it outrageous is they're all like kids, right? It's like Scooby-Doo. Well, I guess Scooby-Doo, they're not all kids, but like these are all kids who are like investigating mysteries and ghosts and, but they're talking like adults sometimes. I don't know. It's very good, very funny. If you like Dragon Ball Z Abridged, you like this. If you like MXC, like Most Extreme Elimination Challenge, just the outrageous redubbing, it's the same concept. It's very, very good. Ghost Stories.
All right, honorable mentions: Sword Art Online, Ghost in the Shell, Psychopaths. I had too many. It's so hard to come up with 5.
Ghost in the Shell is another one that was heavily influenced by Akira. You can watch that movie and be like, they got that idea from Akira.
Yep. And even the Scarlett Johansson version is great.
surprisingly, not a bad movie.
Because I heard a lot of just slams on it, so I watched the anime first, and then so I could know where people were coming from, and then I watched the movie. I was like, this wasn't that bad, guys. Like,
to be honest, of all like the movies that have been made, like that one actually fits.
One of the more successful.
It seems to fits the whole series the best. So it's
the feeling was a little different. It was a little bit more actiony than it was but
it's also got to be a movie that sells. You got to take that into consideration.
Right.
And good old Vic Romano from MXC it stars in the Scarlett Johansson Ghost in the Shell movie.
There you go.
Yeah. It all comes back to that. All right, let's endorse
Indeed.
some stuff so Justin can put his kid to bed.
Yep.
I guess I'll go first. So yeah, been trying to build a new PC. Graphics cards suck right now. Trying to get one.
Yeah.
I literally have like YouTube channels up where people are like botting the websites and telling you if they're stock, which are great because usually they're pretty quick. And I've had almost a couple, but kept missing them by like a second. But there's one thing I do want to recommend if you're in the same situation I am and you're not aware of it. Because finally someone's actually trying to do something about it and trying to make it somewhat fair. Newegg is doing something called the Newegg Shuffle, I guess. And it's where literally you sign up and they dump your name into the sign up and then they just randomly draw you. And then if you get drawn, you can pick whatever products they have available, the high demand ones that they have like listed on the shuffle that day. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Like a lottery, system.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that sucks is that people can sign up multiple times. The only problem is that if they do that and they purchased a card recently, I think their account is flagged and they can't purchase another card.
Yeah, you can kind of more control, I guess, if you're able to see that, I guess, a little better.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool of them to at least do something. At least someone's trying, because this is ridiculous, man.
Yeah. It's like I feel for you.
I literally have the Discord up now where I'm just watching waiting for something to go off. And it's like every time something goes off and I try to get it, it's gone.
Yeah. I got another friend who's trying to build a PC. He can't get a processor. He was trying to get a 3080. He couldn't. I think he found a 3070 and he was like, fuck it. And just bought that.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to settle for the 3070. I want to at least get a 3080 or 3090. I would love to get a 3090. That'd be fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if not, I would settle for the 6800 or 6900 XT. Because it's like, it doesn't need to be anything crazy. I just want something high end, because I'm trying to build a high end PC. I want something where I don't need to do anything about it for a long time.
Yeah.
That's what I'm building.
Yeah.
Because this thing's it's dying. It's done.
Yep.
It has lived its life.
I'll be there soon myself. I'm going to endorse real quick. Number one, if you know a little bit of coding and you wanted to check out some of the more popular front end JavaScript frameworks, the three of us are familiar with development and web development stuff, but there's one out there called Vue.js. It's getting a little bit of popularity. And because of its ease of use of getting into without having like a knowledge of things like Angular and these other ones that are a little bit larger and more complicated. So Vue.js, Vue UE, really easy to get into, and you can start making like really cool apps with like just HTML and JavaScript. And I'm working on a little side project that maybe one day I can endorse here in a couple months.
Nice.
And then real quick, number two, I endorse getting yourself vaccinated for COVID-19. I've done it. I've got the first dose,
nice,
and I feel great. I am not not a zombie. I'm great, so we're fine.
I'm pre-registered, but we'll see how you're doing in a couple days.
Yeah. Well,
no,
so far so good.
Yeah, I also got my vaccine. I got my first
nice
dose of Pfizer.
I gotta get that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pre-registered, but they haven't said anything yet.
Yeah, we got lucky because around here they're just like our people just like not going, and they're just like, the Pfizer vaccine has to be like kept cool and all that. So once they take them out, like they have to use them. So they're pretty much just like telling people like just anybody who wants to like come over here.
Yeah,
and they're
nice.
I literally just hit up the local CVS and
we can get appointments to do. We're doing like millions of vaccines a day now.
Nice. That's good. That's super good. I am going to endorse a YouTuber who goes by the name Super Eye Patch Wolf. Really weird name, but
a relative of yours?
No, he's not actually. Well, could be. I don't know. He's got like a thick Irish accent, so maybe, probably not though. He does a lot of critiques of anime, music, movies, TV, video games, the whole, just any kind of media. He does a lot of wrestling also. I'm not that into wrestling, but he does wrestling videos. Just any kind of media. He does a lot of like long form critiques and reviews. His videos are very well scripted and researched and edited. Very entertaining and informative. He can recommend a lot of good. If you're looking for some more anime, because we just did our top 5 anime. If you're looking for some more anime or other movies, TV, video games, whatever, Super Eye Patch Wolf. He's got a lot of really interesting videos. He's got like recommendations, and then he also took like some deep dives into like some really interesting one. He did a deep dive into the world of like Undertale fan fiction, which I was always like, yeah, I'm sure that, well, like the entire fan community for Undertale, and I'm like, yeah, I'm sure that exists because that's a popular game. No, it's insane. There are like multiple different like spin-off like fan fiction. Yeah, I didn't know about any of there's so many. Undertale, there's so many of them, and then there's spin-offs of spin-offs, and you're like, oh, okay, well, there's probably spin-offs of spin-offs, but the spin-offs of spin-offs have like videos with millions and millions of views. Like, it's crazy. The Undertale like fan community is outrageous. There's so much content. If you really want to like get into the like fan fiction, fan games, all that stuff, which like Undertale itself is like practically an Earthbound fan game. For most intents and purposes, is basically Earthbound, or strongly influenced by Earthbound. Anyway, it's wild. He did a wild deep dive on that. Anyway, Super Eye Patch Wolf. And I think
I see he has a video out there called "What Makes a Good Villain" or something.
Yeah. And, I think that was a wrestling video. I think, but that's it's still a good I don't know, character analysis on villains. All right, let's wrap this up so poor Ethan can go to bed. Our next episode is going to be about the sandbox game Besiege. It's a physics. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sandbox physics game.
Yeah.
Crafting
weird machines and robots.
We will have to get footage of us playing it together to start the episode.
All right. Clearly, Justin is needed elsewhere. Let's get the hell out of here. For the Good Games Podcast, I am James.
I'm Leo.
I'm Justin.
We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
See ya.
Goodbye.
Good night, Ethan.
Good night, Ethan.
Ethan, what's this?
A booby.
What is he looking at?
It squirted.
Is it? Oh, it's all over your face.
Jesus.
My booby.
Okay.
Why would you give him the broken?
I didn't know it was gonna squirt. Like
What did it squeeze?
My booby.
There you go.
What
It's
came out
one
of
of
it?
those like water-filled
That's booby.
stress boobs.
Is the water not supposed to come out?
No,
No.
something tore at it.
What's that again?
The booby tore.
What's this button?
It was a Mardi Gras thing.
Yeah. I remember you talking about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Showed him
I
a boob.
I didn't know it's supposed to squirt. That's new.